This screenshot right here is 4 deals closed, all from outreach in just 10 days. No ads, no referrals, no inbound traffic. And what makes this interesting is not just the results, it's the system behind it. Because this wasn't luck. This was a repeatable multi-channel outreach machine working exactly as designed. And in this video, I'm going to break down how we picked the audience, how we built the data lists, how we structured the outreach, and how the system converted conversations into real revenue for this agency. And the most important part, you'll see why most B2B companies never get results like this, even when they send emails. Before we dive into the numbers, I want to zoom out for a second, because anyone can say that we closed 4 deals in 2 weeks. That doesn't mean anything on its own. What actually matters is, was it predictable? Can it be repeated? Can it scale? And does it work outside of one particular niche? This case study matters because it was done entirely with outbound. It was done for a marketing agency, and it was using a predictable multi-channel cold outreach system, not just email, not just LinkedIn, actually taking advantage of multiple channels, which makes it a perfect example of how outreach really works in 2026. So let's break it down from the very beginning. Everything starts with targeting, and this is where most outreach fails before the first email is ever sent. For this client, we started with a detailed onboarding process. Who are you targeting? What geography? What kind of company size are you looking to target? What type of buyer? What's the buying trigger? And in this case, it was a marketing agency targeting restaurants in Australia. Already that tells us something important. LinkedIn first outreach would be a mistake, and this is where most people go wrong. They use the same tools for every audience and the same channel for every audience, but not all audiences live in the same places. And here's where it gets interesting. If you're targeting restaurants, do not start with generic databases like Apollo or LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Most restaurant owners aren't active on LinkedIn. They don't update their job titles. They don't show up cleanly in professional databases. So instead, we went where restaurant data actually lives, which is Google Maps. So essentially, we scraped Google Maps using a tool called Outscraper, and this allowed us to pull restaurant names, websites, locations, and public contact details. But scraping Google Maps comes with a problem. It's quite messy. You don't just get restaurants, you'll also get catering companies, event spaces, closed locations, mislabeled businesses. So we didn't trust the raw data that we got. Instead of manually cleaning thousands of leads, we used AI. So here's what we did. We uploaded the scraped lists into clay.com. We prompted an AI agent to visit each website of every single lead, check for indicators like menus, booking systems, food imagery, restaurant-specific language, and then the AI simply returns a yes or a no based on whether or not they're qualified. So this step alone will increase relevance when you're doing your outreach. It will reduce spam complaints because your targeting is more accurate. You'll get improved reply rates, protect your email deliverability, and most people skip this because it feels like extra work. But these kind of things are exactly why their outreach dies. By the way, if you need a team to fully build and manage a multi-channel cold outreach system for you can check out the link in the description and the pinned comment. But anyways, back to the video. Once we had a clean list of restaurants, we needed contact details. We used Clay again to find owners, find primary decision makers besides owners, run a waterfall enrichment across multiple different data providers to actually find these details. But here's the underrated part. What we also made sure in this flow is that if we couldn't find the direct owner email, we essentially would scrape the info at or the general inboxes of these restaurants. And most people think this doesn't work, but it absolutely does, especially for local businesses. Why? Well, because those inboxes are regularly checked, messages do actually get forwarded, and owners often reply themselves. And because most people avoid these info at emails, reply rates are actually surprisingly high. We also spot checked all the leads that we got manually just to confirm the actual quality. And with both human and AI verification of these lists, the data quality was absolutely top tier. Now, this is where this turns from a campaign into an actual system. So we don't think in lists, we think in terms of total addressable markets. So our goal is to map out every single restaurant that fit their ICP. And the reason for that is that the more data we can actually find, the more volume we can send, the more conversations we can get this client, and the more conversations, the more deals they will close. And most people treat outreach like a one-time blast, and that's a mistake. Here's what we do instead. So we reach the entire total addressable market every 60 days. We then remove responders and opt-outs, and we keep everyone else, and we repeat this system every 60 days. So that means we have 12 months in a year, 6 touch cycles for every single lead in your entire total addressable market. So decision makers see you 6 times per year. And this is not spammy, this is very strategic, because most people are not ready to buy right away. But if you keep retargeting, you're eventually going to pick up a higher and higher percentage of your market simply by having a predictable outreach system like this. Now let's talk about infrastructure, because this client is a well-established agency and we did not want to send from their main company domain. That's simply just reckless and it's going to get you blacklisted. So instead we build a decentralized infrastructure with multiple secondary domains that each forward to their main domain. And then we have separate email accounts under each domain. We then warm up all these email accounts, and doing something like this will protect our deliverability and it will provide additional scalability to the system. And we also have a system for easily detecting and replacing any domains or email accounts that have been burnt and have subpar deliverability. Now let's talk about the emails themselves and the scripts. And this might surprise you, but they were very simple. We didn't use any fancy frameworks, no clever metaphors or overthinking. We simply had this structure here. So we had a local reference opener. So saw you running a restaurant in Sydney, blah, blah, blah. Then we had a plain language, what we do. So we help restaurant owners get more bookings using this sort of methodology. Then after that, we leveraged a local case study, so a case study that was nearby to the business that we're reaching out to, and then a direct call to action. So can I give you a quick phone call? And that's it, because with restaurants, phone calls often feel natural for owners. And this script worked so well that we immediately doubled down on it. In 99% of cases, you just want to have a very simple message. Just say what you do, mention a relevant case study, and build a strong multi-channel outreach system and be consistent. That is really all it takes for any offer to print with cold outreach. Now, here's where deals are won or lost. So when someone replies, we respond within 1 minute. We call immediately and we book the calls as fast as humanly possible. And this is a part of the scale sprint system, because cold email will create interest, but speed converts it. And most B2B companies reply hours later. They lose all momentum. They end up just sending info, and we don't want to do that because this is how most people fail. We treat every single reply that we get as a hot lead. So zooming out, here's what's actually running. Cold email plus LinkedIn at the top, fast inbox handling, immediate calling, appointment setting as fast as possible, long-term multi-channel nurturing for all interested leads, and strong pre-call flows, welcome sequences, and everything else surrounding the sales call itself. So this isn't just outreach, this is a full acquisition system. And that's why in just 10 days, this client closed 4 customers. Not hypothetical pipeline or booked calls, actual closed revenue, over $100,000 in ARR in a matter of 10 days. So the takeaway from this case study is very simple. Cold outreach works when it's built like a system and not a tactic. You need to carefully conduct audience selection, pick the right databases, AI pre-qualification, multi-domain infrastructure, simple messaging, fast follow-ups, relentless nurturing, and that's how you get predictable results. If you want to have us build this exact system inside your company, you can check out the link in the description and the pinned comment. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a good day.